Welcome, everyone. My name is Emma Gregory. I would like to start by acknowledging traditional owners of the land and elders past, present, and future. For the Q&A session for today, we will be discussing the questions of automated appraisal and its impact on the City of Riversea regarding stakeholders, records retention, description standards with electronic document and records management systems. This Q&A session will help broaden and enhance the process and impact on automated appraisal and future record-keeping practices. The City of Riversea encompasses the local government authority, covering extensive public services and facilities. The Records Management Branch, covered by the IT branch, connects to the Corporate Services Directorate of the Council of Riversea. The Records Management have worked on a hybrid model of digital and paper-based records. They have worked with inconsistent work practices, policies, and appraisal approaches. As a result, management have primarily been using smartphones, tablets, and apps to record and manage work done in records. This has seen inconsistent practices in recording, retaining, and disposing of records, with a current backlog of 5 years' worth of records. From these unsustainable practices, records risk the loss of important public and private data. Records and research data management must go through a proper appraisal process for the purpose of legitimizing reliable information. The Australian ISO appraisal standards ensure records are taken as evidence of public and private practices, making it accessible for stakeholders in creation, capturing, and management. These principles ensure the need for appraisal as it allows records to be transparent, accountable, informs policies and decisions, protection of rights, formats business and cultural identity. As this applies to the local city council records, the inadequate preparation of records risks being unable to deliver the proof of evidence on city actions, decisions, meetings, administrative tasks, and general affairs. The stakeholders involved will factor in the evaluation of records in a record-keeping environment. This includes internal and external holders. Internal stakeholders include the council members, administration staff, corporate services, library, record and archive management, and strategic technical planners. External stakeholders include community members, local business, historical societies, and state archivists. Internal and external stakeholders hold a stake in the discussion of automated appraisal approach, as the records they depend on help the growth of the city, community histories, and future city planning. If records are mishandled from automated appraisal, this would affect administration, council services, facilities, and community members. The link between appraisal and the tools of retention records authority may not seem apparent, but remain an integral part of different appraisal processes when applied to different contexts. The term of appraisal is explained in its most basic form as the act of examining someone or something in order to judge qualities, success, or needs. In a record-keeping context, the United Kingdom National Archives defines appraisal in this context as the process in distinguishing the value of records, continuing use to the future, and determining what records can be disposed of. The State Records of New South Wales cover varieties of necessary retention of records covering aspects of legal, financial, information management, donations, fundraising, occupational health and safety, city construction, and celebratory events. The link between appraisal and records retention shows strong connections, as the process of appraisal simultaneously involves the retention of relevant records, with many impacting the future. Franks argues appraisal and records retention strategies face difficulties in communication via staff management, identification of records, and storage space. To improve appraisal and retention authorities, retention measures must be taken to ensure proper and correct appraisal of records. The appraisal approaches that must be considered in the records management context includes approaches that focus on appraisal of community records. Appraisal approaches include significant, traditional appraisal, macro appraisal, documentation strategy, Minnesota method, technology neutral, and community appraisal. The different appraisal approaches would be used in different contexts of records where applicable. Each specifically focus on areas of significance, retention values, stakeholders, subject activity documentation, functional analysis, community viewpoints, and digitized records. The benefits and risks associated with automated appraisal will most likely affect the quality and thoroughness of appraisal in Riversea, especially in considering the role of metadata. Guardian et al. Explained how algorithmic methods of appraisal automation software tools apply a set of qualitative and quantitative metadata metrics, helping in appraising extensive record sets. While this assists in large record sets, the risks associated with this method present in the form of over-reliance on computer software, loss of physical jobs, data security, lack of transparency, unmet metadata standards, records not being appraised with the details required, and possible loss of records mislabeled for disposal. Klett argues the benefits of automated appraisal are seen in the ease of processing large-scale sets of data records and datasets in a shorter amount of time, helping low employee facilities comply with legal policies, prioritize privacy data, centralize data, reduce storage costs, and help reduce time consumption. Klett's findings expose the risk of inadequate accountability in digital automation, as the task-oriented practices did not follow digital development. The benefits and risks that can be seen from automated appraisal present in a way that can impact descriptions, metadata, and EDAMs of the organizational records. PD defines description standards as the cohesive explanation and identification of records in their content. In the context of records management, descriptions will apply to every stage of handling specific elements of creation, appraisal, ingest, preservation, and storage. Descriptive standards consist of the General International Standard Archival Description, International Standard Archival Authority Record, International Standard for describing institutions with archival holdings, and International Standard for describing functions. The use of ISAT as a primary records description for records management would benefit the most, as it is the most universally compatible system for description. Fulkhead et al. Argues the risk of automated appraisal descriptions may lack the contextual handling and cultural needs of local, historical, and indigenous communities. In handling indigenous records, the human rights consideration must be implemented at the start of records handling. Within the context, numerous records have been created on First Nation peoples' culture and history while ignoring their own unique voice. While automated descriptions show the ease of record and information management, the argument must consider human rights and the addressment of cultural context when implementing descriptions for automated appraisal. With the legal framework and policies surrounding records, appraisal automation could potentially impact the city of Riversea. As previously mentioned, automated appraisal affects how retention and disposal is carried out. Legal and policy issues usually center around these specifics. The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade explained records management policies include the State Records Act, Local Government Act, Local Government Financial Services Act, Freedom of Information Act, Privacy Act, Building Act, and Building Code. The acts ensure no Commonwealth record is disposed of without prior approval and appraisal of records. The automation of appraisal risks appropriating records not approved for disposal, breaking national laws surrounding information freedom and privacy. Through this Q&A session, discussing the important points of applying automated appraisal and its consequences, it can clearly be seen the City of Riversea must provide precautions with its implementation. From national standards, retention policies, and automated appraisal must be created and altered to meet the needs of records. The description and metadata of records remain a high priority for records managers and must be included in the application of automated appraisal. Thank you for attending this Q&A session. Have a good evening.